Hello everyone, this is My Two Cents, and this is my third video in my series reviewing Gavin de Becker's book, The Gift of Fear. As I said last time, the overall point of de Becker's book is, if your gut is telling you something is wrong, do not ignore your gut. He who ignores the feelings of fear he experiences, he who ignores what his instinct is telling him, is he who gets assaulted and killed. And last time we talked about the first of 7 survival signals that de Becker lays out in chapter 4 of his book. These signals are in fact tactics that predators or just plain manipulators use to put their victims at ease, but at the same time end up being the very signals by which you can detect their ill intent. Now, if you haven't watched the video on forced teaming yet, go back and watch that one first, as I will again be referring to the clip from the movie Taken, which I included in that last video. And for those of you that have, as you'll recall, in the last video, we talked about forced teaming, which is a tactic where the manipulator creates an artificial connection to his victim in order to try and draw them closer. Now, today we're going to be talking about that second signal, charm and niceness. Quoting from page 57 of de Becker's book, charm is an overrated ability. Note that I call it an ability, not an inherent feature of one's personality. Charm is almost always a directed instrument, which, like rapport building, has motive. To charm is to compel, to control, by allure or attraction. Think of charm as a verb, not a trait. If you consciously tell yourself, this person is trying to charm me, as opposed to this person is charming, you'll be able to see around it. Most often, when you see what's behind charm, it won't be sinister, but other times you'll be glad you looked. He goes on to say on page 59, I encourage women to explicitly rebuff unwanted approaches, but I know it is difficult to do. Just as rapport building has a good reputation, explicitness applied by women in this culture has a terrible reputation. A woman who is clear and precise is viewed as cold or a bitch or both. A woman is expected, first and foremost, to respond to every communication from a man, and the response is expected to be one of willingness and attentiveness. It is considered attractive if she is a bit uncertain, the opposite of explicit. Women are expected to be warm and open, and in the context of approaches from male strangers, warmth lengthens the encounter, raises his expectations, increases his investment, and at best, wastes time. At worst, it serves the man who has sinister intent by providing much of the information he will need to evaluate and then control his prospective victim. So now, once again, think back to that same clip from Taken. The man who identifies himself only as Peter. He smiles at the girls, he offers to take their picture, he sings California Girls, I wish they all could be California girls. He does everything he can to come across as a nice, friendly guy. But then think about what de Becker says. Niceness is a decision. Now, I don't mean to be overly critical of nice people. Some people are just pleasant. But when a stranger goes out of their way to be nice to you, you again have to consider the context. What does he want? Now, it's not unusual that a man would want to be charming to a couple of pretty girls. I mean, heck, when I'm talking to a girl that I'm interested in, of course I try to be nice. But even in the context of a man who is not a predator, men flirt because they have a motive. Now, assuming a real situation similar to the one depicted in Taken, if that guy were decent, he would at least know how it intuitively looks, him being a stranger approaching a couple of women who are alone and in a vulnerable situation. Or consider a less sinister situation. You're at a car dealership, and the salesman is incredibly charming and nice. Now, of course, this is preferable to a rude salesman, but once again, what's the context? The reason he's so nice is because he's hoping the conversation will end in a sale. Again, the niceness is a decision, and in this case, like in most cases, it has a motive. So, summing up, the point of this video is that charm is a skill that is often directed at a goal. People are not inherently charming or nice, they choose to be, typically because they have motive. So when someone, particularly a total stranger, is overly charming or nice to you, the question you need to ask is, what do they want? This is my 2 cents. Take it for what it's worth. If you liked this video, please hit like and subscribe. To follow me on Twitter, minds.com, or VidMe, check out the links in the description.